Hi guys, today we're going to be taking a look at page 9 and 10 of your Unit 11 packet. Once again, that's page 9 and page 10 of your Unit 11 packet. Now, when we talk about volume, we're talking about something a little bit different than surface area. Surface area referred to wrapping something up and figuring out the total area of all the faces, right? The outside. By contrast, volume refers to what's inside. Only instead of being inside flat, it's inside a three-dimensional figure. All right. Now, instead of showing you LWH, which is the formula they give you there, I want you guys to realize that the formula for the area of any prism, no matter what the shape of the base or cylinder, can be represented as follows. Once again, this applies to any prism and any cylinder. V equals big B times H. Now there's a reason that we would use big B, and that's because big B means the area, okay? So in this case, a prism, we would just find the area of the base and multiply it by the height. For a cylinder, because the base is actually a circle, the volume for a cylinder would just be pi r squared times h when we get there, all right? So my personal preference is to memorize this formula instead of having to remember a whole bunch, all right? So we're going to start off by taking a look at page 9, number 1, so we can see how this is going to work with a rectangular prism, all right? So I've got, let's see, so I got like a rectangle-ish thing. And then I got another rectangle-ish thing, right? And rectangle, rectangle, rectangle. Again, I apologize if it's not beautiful, all right? You know, whatever. So I have 9, 17, and 24. Now, think about it this way. If I want to use the formula V equals B times H, let's find the area of the base first. What's the area of a rectangle? Well, it's going to be length times width, or base times height, which is 9 times 17. So I'm going to do 9 times 17. And I'm going to multiply that by the height, which is 24. So the effect is the same. It's still going to be LWH, but I can also conceptualize it as area of the base times the height. So in this case, I get 9 times 17 times 24, which is 3,672. Let me just make sure I did that math right, because who knows, I might have made a mistake with my calculator. No, I'm right, 3,672. All right? Now, the reason that I would personally prefer you guys to remember V equals big B times H is when we look at page 10. Do me a favor, guys. Take a look at page 10, and I want you to look at example 4 with me. Once again, what page are we on? We're on page 10, example number 4. Anybody on TikTok? Yeah? Having fun yet? Okay, now I'm just being extra. Okay, I'll stop. Anyway, so once again, we're on page 10, number 4. So for number 4, we've got ourselves, let's see, it looks kind of like this, all right? And again, I apologize if my, drawing is not perfect, all right? We all make mistakes, don't we? Yes, we do. All right, but it's something kind of like that, right? It's a triangular prism. Now, here's what they tell me, okay? They tell me that this is 9. This height is 5. This right here is, what is that? 7.3. This right over here is 12. And this over here is 10. All right. So, very, very simple here, all right? All we have to do is realize that to find the volume of this prism, all I'm doing is finding the area of a base, which in this case is the triangle, because the triangle is what's being raised, and I'm going to multiply that by the height. Now let's find the area of this triangular base first. The base, or the flat part, is 12, and the height is 7.3. So in order to do big B times H, that's going to be 1/2 base times height, and then that height of the whole thing is going to be 5 units, okay? So let's find the area of that triangle. So 1/2 times 12 times 7.3. Let's figure out what that is. So 12 times 7.3 divided by 2. So that's 43.8. And I gotta then multiply that by the height of the prism. So times 5 equals 219. Notice what the unit should be here. I should actually have feet cubed, also known as cubic feet. Okay? So again, notice a couple things. The same basic idea applied. As long as I remembered how to find the area of a base, in this case it's a triangle, and I remember that's 1/2 base times height, it's very easy to just use V equals big B times H in order to be able to find the volume of every prism or every cylinder. Let's see, last but not least, how this is going to work in the case of a cylinder, shall we? Let's take a look at page 10, number 9. Which number? Question number 9. All right, so number 9 gives us that we have a cylinder, which looks something like this, right? And they tell us that the height is 15, and the radius is, I believe, 18. So let me write that in. 15, and, is that glare pretty bad? How's that? Is that better? Hopefully, maybe, yeah. Okay, so 15 and 18. So now, to find the volume, I just write my basic formula, which is area of the base times height. Now, do I know what shape the base is? Yes, I do. The base is a circle, right? So all I gotta do is find the area of that circle, which is gonna be pi r squared, so pi times 18 squared, and the height they already gave me was 15. So let's do some multiplication. So I'm going to do pi times 18 times 18 times 15. And let's see what we end up getting. I got 15,268.1. And technically, if I'm going to include units, it really should be inches cubed. Now, when you type your answers in on Canvas, I'm going to ask that you guys not type in the units, just because I don't want it to mark you wrong, you cry, you send me a message, and I'm just like, oh gosh, I have so much more work to do, all right? So anyway, on Canvas, you'll enter your numbers just with the numbers, but on, let's say, like a written assessment or something in a future class, you definitely want to make sure to include the units. Some teachers are very, very picky about that. So in sum, if you're trying to find the volume of any prism or a cylinder, you only have to remember one formula, and that's area of the base, which is big B, times height. If you remember how to find the area of triangles, rectangles, and circles, you're pretty much set for the rest of that unit.